Yes, everybody, Stephen House from Full-Time Devils. This is a transfer review, the one video you need to watch to find out what is going on in the transfer market and then move on with your life. That World Cup's on, but it's still transfer rumours rumbling on. And the first one that we have to talk about today is Toby Alderweireld and Alex Sandro. Now, one of them's not at the World Cup, so maybe that's not really effective. And this is in the Express. Now, the Express, what is journalism coming to when you get your news as a journalist from another journalist's podcast? The podcast I'm talking about is Duncan Castle's Transfer Window podcast, and in this he's talked about Manchester United's recruitment list. Now, this is something that we've spoken about loads, isn't it? That there's going to be a centre-half at the top of it. There's going to be a centre-half 2, 3. There might be 5. There might be 27 on there. We don't know. We might only ever go through the first couple. And basically what he's saying is Toby Alderweireld is on United's list, but United might not be taking him. He might not be the first on that list because of how much Tottenham are going to want for him. He also goes to talk about Alex Sandro definitely being on the list as a left-back, but again, the same thing applies. There might be other left-backs on the list. And that's where I think things like Fred and Milinkovic-Savic come in, but we'll probably get into that a little bit later on. Now, based on this, Alderweireld coming in, it's been about the same thing for the last few weeks. 4, 5 out of 10. Let's go with a 4 at the moment. Alex Sandro, feels like a 3 at the moment. Staying with Brazil for a second then, and Willian. Now, this is a player that has played with Jose Mourinho, and as I've said for the entire summer, this is a deal I can really see happening. I know a lot of United fans aren't going to be like, hang on, I thought we was getting Bale for that right-hand side. I think Willian is someone that would probably suit what Jose Mourinho's trying to do in multiple ways. £60 million bid is being reported everywhere. We've got it from the Express, but there's nothing really meaty in the articles when you read them. It's like they've been told, oh, United are going to bang a bid in, and then it seems like we're guessing on the fee, and it seems like we're guessing on the details of it, because it's like, it's a headline for every single outlet, but it's not got any detail in there anyway. I think Willian is something that we could definitely make happen. The confusion about what's going on at Chelsea with their manager, who's going to be in charge, this, that and the other, does it mean they're signing players, does it mean they're selling players? I think all of that's a valid talking point, so I can't see it happening just yet. But Chelsea have bought and sold players forever, and they've always been getting rid of managers, so maybe it doesn't make that much of a difference. I'm going to say 7 out of 10 in this instance. It's something I can see happening, but it's not certain just yet. Our pals at Sports Witness have been drilling into a transfer rumour that's just come up, and that is Skriniar, the Inter Milan Slovakian centre-half. Now, he's a decent enough player. He's not someone that I don't think set the world alight. I haven't watched enough about him to have a strong opinion on him, but he did pretty well for Inter Milan, who did pretty well last season, so I imagine he's all right at least. Now, what they're talking about here is a £65 million deal when Alderweireld 60 million. Wasn't Willian 60, 65 million? Skriniar 65. Has 65 million just become the new 40 million, which was the new 30 million, which is the new 20 million? That's the new going rate for anybody, I imagine. What in the world? Mind-boggling. Anyway, what Sports Witness say at the very end of it, which I think is the most key thing in here, is that Inter Milan are about to offer him a new contract. So is this agent talk? Is this someone stirring up the pot a little bit? Let's see, like someone else is interested. At the minute, it's come out of nowhere. I'm going to give it a 1 out of 10. But going back to what we said earlier about Toby Alderweireld being on some sort of list, he could be on a list, and he could be someone that's available for pretty cheap wages, which is what the club care about more than the transfer fees. Seam Vrsaljko. It's not really a new name on the horizon for Manchester United, but it's someone that we're not really linked to very often. Now, you remember a couple of days ago, I said, United and Juventus, there's something going on there, isn't there? We are always getting linked to the same players at the moment. And my take is, I think United can afford some of these players, and I don't think Juventus can. I certainly don't think we're going man for man and going for every single player similar the way that we're not going to go head to head for all of these players. It's just not going to happen. Juventus are not in the same league as us financially. They've got a very good side, they've got a very good scouting network, but I don't think we're going for the same players. Is it the fact that we've just signed Juventus' recruitment guy? Maybe we're going in for the same guys. Maybe he's took his list from his old place. Is that one of the things? Is that one of the reasons? I don't know. But it seems like United players, or United's targets and Juventus targets, are very similar at the moment. Now, this guy's a right back for Atletico Madrid. He's absolutely sick. But it doesn't seem like there's anything concrete in it. It seems like Juventus have just appeared on the scene for United target. Feels like there's absolutely nothing in it at the moment. I'm going to give it a 2 out of 10. The MEN have decided to come up with a bit of absolute toilet, which is par for the course for the MEN, and they're saying Jack Wilshere could be the star signing Jose Mourinho needs to make a title challenge next season. How is Jack Wilshere the answer to Manchester United's midfield problems? The guy couldn't run a bath, let alone a midfield. There's no way that he improves what we've got at Manchester United. I would much rather say, Andreas Pereira, there's a shirt. Timothy Fosu-Mensah, there's a shirt. Rather than some plastic-ankled ballsack from Arsenal who can't even get a game for them anymore. No, thank you. The guy can't even get a game in England's midfield in the World Cup. That's how bad he is. 0 out of 10. I'm not entertaining that for 1 second. Let's move on. Jerome Boateng. Talented defender. Experienced defender. Right kind of age for what I think Manchester United really need. But it's been reported in the MEN and Don Ballon, which is like trying to think of something that's not very offensive. It's not very good. Should we just say that? Should we just say it's not very good? And Don Ballon, they make the MEN look like stone tablets. Don Ballon are reckoning that Manchester United have stolen Jerome Boateng from Real Madrid. I don't know who needs to sit these fellas down and be like, listen, mate, no one's stolen anybody, and he doesn't play for Real Madrid. Plays for Bayern Munich. Now, would I like Jerome Boateng? Yes. Now, people are saying his injury record, and someone actually sent me his injury record the other day. Do you know how many games he actually missed on that injury record? Wasn't many. It was like a day here and a day there, and he was out for like 4 months once, and it was from the end of one season to the start of the next season, so he didn't really miss any games when he was out. I think that there's probably some sort of injury issue, and you don't usually get a player out of Bayern Munich unless they really want him to go. That weighs on my mind a little bit. But times are changing and money talks, and Manchester United have got loads of that loot. I don't think it's happening. I certainly wouldn't buy what Don Ballon and the MEN are saying. They tell me it's Tuesday, I check. 4 out of 10 at the moment. No, actually, 3 out of 10 at the moment. Yeah, 3 out of 10. Gareth Bale. I think this is going to be the summer saga for Manchester United, especially after what he said following the Champions League final. Now, the Express are going with, it's an article about Willian, but there's a little bit in there about Gareth Bale. And it says, the Welsh speedster. Where did he come up with these adjectives? Do you reckon they have like a wheel on a board? And they'd be like, it's like Wheel of Fortune, they spin it. Here's your new adjective, speedster. Get that in an article, no problem. Anyway, Gareth Bale, the Welsh speedster, he's not coming to United now because the new boss, Lopetegui, speaks English. I don't think that was his issue. If you've got a problem at a club, it's not fixed because the new guy can talk about happy days with you. What a load of nonsense. I do think a new manager coming in might have an effect on what Gareth Bale does, but not because he speaks English. It's more likely because he's going to play him than anything else, if he's going to play him. We don't know if he's going to play him yet, do we? I'm sure there's conversations going on like that at the moment, but as always, Ed Woodward would love an absolute megastar signing like Gareth Bale. So we can't rule it out, can we? 4 out of 10. Sergej Milinkovic-Savic impressed quite a lot of people this weekend when they was watching the World Cup, and he's been linked with Manchester United a hell of a lot recently. As I've been saying for the entire season, I think there was a list. I think his name was 100% on that list. I think he's an excellent player and he's going to go for a hell of a lot of money when he goes. I also said a couple of weeks ago, when Juventus come in the mix for a player that plays football in Italy, you have to sit up and take notice. It's exactly the same as someone who plays for like Wolfsburg or Schalke. When you hear Bayern Munich are interested in him, you go, just go and Bayern Munich then, yeah. I think what's going to happen with Milinkovic-Savic is I think he's going to sign for Juventus now. And I think he's going to sign for Juventus because that's what Juventus do. And that's bolstered by the fact that his dad was talking to Tuttosport this weekend, and he's come out and he said he would love to play at a club, it would really suit this club, and basically he just pours loads of gravy all over Juventus. Does that mean it's a done deal? Absolutely not, because by the sounds of it, Lazio want like 100 million euros for him, I think, just to start talking to him about him. So can Juventus afford that? I'm not sure they can. As I said earlier, I think Juventus, they can talk a big financial game, but I don't think they can play the big financial game with some of Europe's elite and with some of the oil-rich countries that... Oh, mate! Yeah, you can't do a U-turn there, son. I don't think they've got the money to compete with some of the massive oil-rich clubs around Europe, like City, like PSG, like Chelsea, or just absolutely minted clubs like United and Real Madrid. But they do occasionally pull out a massive signing. This might be their big signing of the summer, which means that all of the rest of the ones that United are linked with, we're probably going to end up getting. It might also mean that they have to sell someone like Sandro to someone like United because they need to finance these big deals that are coming in. Who are we talking about? Savic. Feels like he's going Juventus, so let's rate him to United. 2 out of 10 at the moment. It's decreasing every week. Supposedly, Carlos Volcano is a real person. Do you know who he is? Maybe get in the comments and let us know who he is. Anyway, they're saying Gattuso and AC Milan are pushing for Marouane Fellaini, who's demanded 10 million euros a year. Fair play, Fellaini. You've got some balls to ask for that kind of money. We've all seen you play football. That's ludicrous. It's the gut man. I'm helping him clear his house out. He doesn't know it yet, though. I've got to rate this. He's gone. 10 out of 10. He's gone. Axel Tuanzebe. That's a name that we don't usually talk about. And calm down. We're not talking about a permanent transfer. But Aston Villa, reported in one of the Birmingham papers, are interested in taking Axel Tuanzebe on loan for next season. Stevie Bruce, I got a little message for you, my friend. This guy is a top draw centre-half. Take him. But play him at centre-half. Don't play him at right-back. Some players can adapt and play in different positions and excel in those different positions. But Axel Tuanzebe is one of the best natural, gifted defenders I have ever seen. Can you imagine Rio Ferdinand at right back? It's an absolute disaster waiting to happen. Take him on loan, play him all season, play him at centre half where he's going to excel, and you'll have a world beater in no time. If I had to rate it, I think he enjoyed himself there looking at his posts on social media. I give it a 5 out of 10, could go either way. If he's in United's first team plans, there's absolutely no chance anyone's getting him. David De Gea didn't have a great weekend. Or was it planned? Did David De Gea know if he has an absolute stinker in the first match for Spain, the Spanish press are not going to be able to get a real campaign going to bring him to Real Madrid, who love having like the apple of the Spanish team's eye? Excellent plan from David De Gea. Didn't really cost them the game. Only a couple of points. It's not going to affect the World Cup. I'm sure they're going to go far. But really smart from David De Gea to have a stinker and throw Real Madrid off the scent. At the same time that there's lots of rumours doing the rounds that he's about to sign a new deal for Manchester United. The guy's an absolute hero. Can't wait to have his statue erected up there. 10 out of 10, he's going nowhere. I'll fight anyone who thinks otherwise. He used to play for Wales in the MEN again, and they're talking about Paul Pogba, and it's that club. It might as well be called the Juventus transfer talk, isn't it? Because it's all about Juventus. Paul Pogba was asked about a possible return to Juventus, and Paul Pogba gave generic football answer number 3, right? You can go and buy this book. It's all generic football answers. They have generic manager answers and they have generic footballer answers when asked about a transfer and all the rest of it. And he chose question number 3, which was, I'm at the World Cup, I'm concentrating on the World Cup, that's all I care about, blah, 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 blah. Why did he ask these questions? Honestly. You have the chance with some of the world's most elite athletes. You can ask them about anything. You could have asked Paul Pogba, talk to me about some of the interplay that we saw for the goal that you scored against Australia. Talk to me about some of that one-touch driving football and the wonderful goal that you scored. Is that the sort of football you'd like to play at United? Did you play a different role that enabled you to do that? Blah, 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 blah. No, let's ask him about transfers. If Juventus are signing everyone under the sun, then yeah, I'm sure they're signing Paul Pogba as well, because they've just found a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, and that's how they're spending it, because that works on financial fair play. Found a pot of gold. It's happy days. I don't think he's going Juventus. 1 out of 10. Daily Mirror are talking Anthony Martial, and they're saying Anthony Martial's transfer hopes have been dashed because Manchester United are about to demand a massive 75 to 100 million fee for him from the likes of Tottenham Hotspur. And then they went like this, put their names in a hat with a couple of others, and what have they pulled out? Paris Saint-Germain, yeah, they're minted. And what's this one here? Real Madrid. No basis for linking these clubs whatsoever apart from, they've got money, that makes sense. We was going to link him to Kettering, but we thought that we didn't have enough money, so here you go, Real Madrid. Absolute lazy journalism. What I find interesting is, though, in the last week, we've had Anthony Martial's agent coming out and saying that he wants out of Old Trafford, and then we've had Cy Stoney coming out, and I'm sure he's been told by Manchester United to put this out as well, and he's come out and said that United don't want to sell him. That, to me, is playing the game from both sides. His agent comes out and says he wants to leave. United say, well, we're not selling you. Do you know why United come out and say we're not selling you? Even if they're pimping his ass all over Europe, they come out and say we're not selling you, because if you come out and say, yeah, we want him off the books, we don't rate him, and Jose's not going to play him next season, someone's going to come in and going to offer you a packet of skips and a mint aero for him. It's business. So you have to come out and say, nah, he's in our plans. Actually, we was going to play him up front and just like play nobody else all season. He's the most important player. You have to say these things. Do I think he's going? I really do think he's going. It's a solid 8 out of 10 that Anthony Martial's going. Where's he going? No idea. Asim's got an excellent bullshit bingo, and it looked like it hoodwinked a couple of people on social media as well, saying Pepe is coming back to Manchester United just to help Diego Dalot settle in. And yeah, I like that one. If you got involved in bullshit bingo, then all you got to do is tweet the hashtag BS bingo and just make up a rumour. Make up a rumour that you think the Metro would write, like Hasib's just done, and we'll throw it in next week's show. That's it from me for this show, but tomorrow's transfers today is back at 11 if you want to get into the transfers and talk to us live while we're doing it. That's 11 o'clock every single weeknight. And I'll be back here outside Old Trafford, hopefully in better weather next week. Come on, Korea!